Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan with another 1/6 scale figure review. Today I have the Asmus Toys 6th scale Boromir figure from the Lord of the Rings. I do have other Lord of the Rings Asmus figures, but Boromir is still available from several retailers. Just maybe not the really big ones. But he is still out there. I love the books, I love the movies, and I am more than happy to have such quality figures of these characters. So let's get into the review. Alright, so let's take a look at Boromir. We have a nice portrait of Sean Bean here on the front of our box. That kind of tree of Gondor on the back, maybe. I do like the boxes from Asmus. They do a pretty good job. And that's a very clear picture of the actor on there, too. I like that. Let's get this open. Set that over there. Okay, so we have our two layers. I suppose we can take a look at Boromir first. Okay. Let's get that off his head and save that in case I have to rebox him. So one of the hard things about making the figures in that is trying to match the sculpts as close as possible. I think they did all right. It looks more like them from some angles than others. But you know what? It looks pretty close. So I'm happy with it. Let's get a nice close-up view of his head sculpt if we can. Yeah, we've got a nice shine in his eyes there. Good amount of detail. The hair is plastic. It's sculpted. Or like a resin, whatever the head sculpts are made out of. Looks like we've got some plastic around the neck joint we're going to have to remove here. The head just comes right off. Oh no! Sean Bean! Alright. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Slide his head back on. There we go. That was fairly simple. Alright, his tunic in that. This has like that foul leather, which you have to be very careful with this. You can't bend it too much. You have to take really good care of it. Store your figure in a nice, cool, dry place. Humidity and heat and any kind of extreme temperatures and such is very bad for this, as over time it will kind of wrinkle and crack and then start to flake off. Anytime there's like pleather on like dolls or figures like this. But it does look very nice. It's a very good tunic. Now he does have this really nice detailing. I mean, even up in the collar here, that looks fantastic. That really ornate design on his clothing here, going all the way around. The buttons and clasps on his tunic. Then there's a little bit of wash down at the bottom to make it look kind of muddy and used. Let's take a look at his belt. I think it might actually be... Is it like a leather or a rubber? I think it might be kind of like a synthetic belt. I don't think it's leather. No, it's not leather. I'm pretty sure it's like a rubber. But it does look pretty good. It's got a nice wash over it that kind of makes it look like a leather. Nice buckles. His scabbard looks pretty good. His sword will be able to fit that a little bit later. It's got a nice sheath for a dagger. Continue around the side. His undershirt looks cool too, and it has like these little fleur-de-lis on there. Or something like it. Little stars. More real nice ornate design around the sleeves. The chainmail looks a little weird. Especially up close. Like at a distance, it's like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. But I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it's an interesting material. Like, it works for what it is. I just don't know how I feel about that. Now, his Gondor Vambraces look really good. And of course, Aragorn takes these. I think I have to bring in the Helm's Deep figure to see if it's like the same kind of Vambraces that they included on the Helm's Deep figure, because Aragorn actually, in the film, he takes them and uses them after Boromir is killed. Take a look at the one on the other side. Looks really nice. His sculpted gloves look pretty decent too. I mean, they are just sculpted gloves, but they look like gloves. Okay. Don't know what else to say about that. Now, if we look down here, his boots are sort of separate pieces, but his boots are his feet. They're not like parts that slide on. But for the figure, actually, my camera's trying to focus on Sean Bean in the background there. All right. But for the figure, they look pretty good. They have a nice detail on them, and then the way they're designed allows for some decent posability. Now, the thing about these figures, with all the clothes and armor on them, it gets kind of hard to pose them sometimes. Oh, he's got kind of latches a little bit, or ratchets. It gets limited sometimes by their clothing. Not so much on Boromir, though. However, be careful with, like, the pleather... I don't know what kind of pleather tunic or whatever. But you got to be careful with this, because if you bend this a little too extreme, it's just going to increase the risk of damage to it. So you do have to be careful about that. Does he have anything on the back? No. Okay. So very nice detailed figure. Like, I always expect pretty great stuff from Asmus. If I can get him to stand up. He does come with a stand. We'll take a look at that momentarily. Now, It tells us a little bit about what we get in the box, maybe kind of swapping some of the things out. And of course, anytime you're handling 6 scale stuff like this, always be careful with it. I do like how they include instructions like this to kind of hang it on there to be, easy and film accurate. They'll tell you how to put stuff on to make it look good. Okay, that shouldn't be too hard. Okay. Set that down over there. Okay, so I took the opportunity to grab my Helm's Deep Aragorn. We'll take a look at their Vambraces here. It looks like the ones on Aragorn are a bit darker. But it is the same design. So yeah, those are Boromir's Vambraces. Which is a pretty cool little detail there that they made sure to do that. Okay, so accessories-wise, out of the set, the first thing I'm actually going to show is the Lord of the Rings stand. Just so I can get Boromir on there and he's not like tilting over. Sometimes they include these with characters that they don't really fit on. But otherwise, it's still nice to have a stand included. See, now the weird thing about this is... Oh, no, it should fit in between his tunic. There we go. And it doesn't puff out his butt too bad either. Okay. Now, can take a look at his cloaks. Here's the one gifted to him by the elves. Which is a really nice, it's a thin material, but it's very soft. It's a very good quality. It looks sewn pretty well. I don't think we're really going to have to worry about that tearing apart. It does have a little bit of wire in the hood so that you can set that up and pose that to your liking. Just in the face, though, not like the back. But otherwise, that is a nice material. I like that. If we take a look at the Elven Leaf. Some very nice detail on there, too. Next, we have Boromir's cloak, which is just awesome. It has this very nice ornate design on it, and it has texture, too. It's not just simply printed on there. It's actually got some depth to it, that design on there. Which is really nice. And the foul fur on here is super soft. Let's see, we have some nice detail where it ties off. And then this hood. Oh man, there's even like some soft material on the inside of that too. That is cool. But there's also a wire in this one, just like the other cloak. Next, we have his shield, which is, it's not metal, it's plastic, but it looks pretty good. Has some real nice detailing on there. If we look at the back side, we have a strap for him to carry it. And a handle for his fist to go into. Now, with 1/6 scale figures, I've noticed sometimes when you're trying to get them to hold the shield, like their hands don't fit in there very well. So that could potentially be a bit of a struggle. I think, unless I'm trying to do like a real dynamic pose, I might just have him as though he's traveling rather than fighting, so I might just kind of hang that on him because I don't want to risk breaking off that handle on the inside there. But there is some wood paneling detail on the inside there too, with little rivets on either end of the shield. And there's a bit of a design on the strap too, like his leather belt. Okay, his rubber belt. Little imprint on his buckle. Looks pretty cool. Next we have the Horn of Gondor. Wants to focus on Boromir in the background. Very nice detail on there. It has a little bit of weight to it. The instruction manual was telling us to be cautious about this because apparently it's potentially easy to break these little loops on there. But very nice detail on that. We also get a nice dagger, which does feel metal. Looks metal, feels metal, has a little bit of weight to it. Nice pommel on there. Of course, this goes nicely into his sheath on the back of his belt. Of course, he also comes with a metal sword. Now, it's not sharp, like you're not going to cut yourself on this or anything. It's almost kind of like a letter opener of sorts. I still wouldn't use it for that, though, but just be careful. The tip can be a little bit pointy, but it is kind of rounded. It's got some good sculpting on the pommel there. Mine has a little bit of scratches on there. Battle damage. That's alright. That'll slide nicely into its scabbard. Included with the set were some extra hands. See, we've got some semi-closed fists for holding the sword and the dagger. Let's see, possibly the shield. I think I'd rather use the open palms for the shield. I don't think I'm going to... Well, I might be able to get that onto the shield. But again, I kind of don't really want to risk breaking that. Whoops. And we also get some closed left and right fists. I'm always happy to see these packed with 1/6 figures. We have some extra wrist pegs in case we accidentally break one of his wrist pegs. I always appreciate when companies include those in their sets. Now, let's see about how we put his cloaks on him. Yeah, so I'm not really sure whether or not he wears both of these cloaks, like one over the other in the film. So we're going to try a couple different combinations here. So I think if you were to carry all this, the easiest way to carry it would simply be to wear it. So let's put on his Elven Cloak. And then we'll throw on his Gondor Cloak. Whoop, no, that's not what we want to do first. What we want to do first is actually hang on his horn. Now we can put his cloaks on. Trying to fold his hood down in the back. Fit onto his shoulder nicely. I'm going to pick one of these. I'm going to try swapping out his hand. Oh, that came off nice and easy. There we go. So I also noticed that his shield strap isn't adjustable. It's actually glued there. Because my thought was to just thread it through his hand, but I can't do that. Oh, is there actually like a little piece? That's interesting. There's actually a little piece of rubber that's keeping me from doing that. Well, a little chunk came off there. I'll have to kind of either marker or paint over that a little bit later, but that's a little bit annoying. That's kind of why I wasn't able to get the strap in his hand. There was a piece of rubber in the way. And I just dislocated his arm. Oh no, there it is. Okay, hold on. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I thought I had broken his arm, but I had simply pulled it out of his socket. Oh, jeez. Alright. That had me sweating. Why am I struggling so much with this? Stick it on there for now. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so I mean that's Boromir with his all of his cloaks on there. I think that's gonna take a little bit of time and finagling to make that look good. One more thing I do want to go over is how well he holds his sword and his dagger. Well, okay. I'm going to take this off. So that actually does grip that very well. And then I think also because the ratchets and the arm and the elbow allows him to actually hold that up extremely easily without it like falling down. So that's pretty good. Yeah, see, this hand's not molded together. And that's got a pretty good grip on that, too. I think we'll go ahead and move into a montage. It's going to take me some time to just kind of mess with all the cloaks and everything to get it looking good. This Boromir figure is a very good representation of the son of Gondor from the Peter Jackson films. The clothing and accessories are made of good cloths with intricate detailing and paint to make them look realistic. The metal alloy sword and dagger add an extra bit of weight and realism when handling the figure. Speaking of handling the figure, as a reminder, do be careful. At one point, I had thought I'd broken the figure's right arm, but thankfully I only dislocated it and was able to pop it back in. That happened because I overextended the articulation. The figure does not stand well on its own, so it's a good thing that a stand was included. A note I have to make is that the cloaks don't have to go on at the same time. Display the figure however you like, with one, both, or none. If there was something that bugged me was that the rubber hand sculpts lose their paint fairly easily, so take care with those. And I had to cut a bit of flashing to get him to hold things. All things said, I still really like this figure, and I really want to get Boromir on the shelf with the rest of my Lord of the Rings figures I've got together already. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. I'm sure there's plenty of characters that we'd love to see Asmus make or re-release. I'm certainly looking forward to getting more Lord of the Rings figures from Asmus. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.